seriously silly story is called Shampoosal. There was once a jolly hairdresser named Dan Druff. Dan loved hair. Curly hair and bristly hair, eyebrows and beards, Dan loved them all. He loved the gleam of his many mirrors and the snippety snick of sparkling silver scissors. Dan even sang about hair. Hair, hair, glorious hair, it spreads from your head nearly everywhere. It grows on your toes, even inside your nose. Hair, hair, hair. Only one thing upset Dan's happiness. His girlfriend Tamatay, who lived in the flat upstairs. Unlike Dan, Tam was a sad person who hid away in her bedroom behind tightly drawn curtains. From under their hairdryers, Dan's customers could hear her wretched moans, and Dan nearly tore his hair out with worry over her condition. The awful truth was, Tamatay had terrible hair. "Oh, Dan," she wailed, "my head is dull and lifeless. I have a flaky scalp and unsightly split ends, but no ordinary shampoo is effective." Dan could find nothing to help, and as the days passed, Tam's hair grew as greasy as a chip shop mop. Now, not far away from the barber shop was an evil black tower, which twisted into the sky like a strange hairstyle. This was the home of a bad hair witch. High in her dark rooms, the bad hair witch mixed strange shampoos and hair oils which were sold all over the world. The secret ingredients came from rare plants which grew only in her private garden. Above the hairdresser's shop, Tam became convinced that one of these magical hair herbs would bring life back to her dull scalp, and she pleaded with Dan to pick some. At the mention of the black tower, Dan Druff felt the hairs prickle at the back of his neck. "I dare not go there," he whispered. "What if I should fall into the evil hair grip of the bad hair witch?" But Tamatay complained so long and hard that at last Dan Druff could stand it no longer. "All right, keep your hair on," he bristled. "I will go to the tower and comb the gardens for your herbs." So the next morning before dawn, the brave barber crept reluctantly up the hairpin bends that led to the tower. As he walked, he sang to keep up his courage. "Hair, hair, marvellous hair, the poor can have more than a millionaire. You may think it sounds silly, but it grows on my what on earth is that?" Before he could finish his song, Dan had almost walked into a huge sign hanging on the wall before him. "Dan Druff, use your head. If you climb this wall, you wish you were dead." Dan felt a shiver run along his moustache. Only the thought of Tam's sad locks drove him on. Ignoring the sign, he scrambled into the bad hair witch's secret garden, where he found a second sign. "Dan Druff, can't you read? Don't even think about nicking a weed." Poor Dan had never been in such a hairy situation, but he bent down and began to stuff his pockets with the herbs. Suddenly he heard a terrible voice. "Dan Druff, you must be crazy. You'll pay for those plants with your very first baby." Dan's hair stood on end. It was the worst rhyme he had ever heard. Before him stood the bad hair witch. But I don't have a baby," stammered Dan. "Well, let's not split hairs," snapped the witch. "I will wait until your first child is born." Grabbing a last handful of herbs, Dan leapt over the wall and hared down the hill to the town. He found Tam in her bedroom wearing a paper bag on her head, and he poured out the story of his terrifying brush with the bad hair witch. But Tam was barely listening. She seized the wonderful herbs, crushed them and began to lather her scalp. Kapow! As if by magic, Tam's hair turned into a glorious mass of golden curls, which seemed to flow in slow motion when she tossed her head. Tamatay was cured. She tore downstairs into the sunny shop, and as Dan shaved their bristly early morning customers, Tam happily set to work beside him, sweeping up the fallen curls and locks. That very week Tam and Dan were married, and the whole town joined them in this glorious hymn. Hair, hair, magnificent hair, it can grow down below in your underwear. It grows on your chest like a big woolly vest. Hair, hair, hair. Before a year was out, the couple's happiness was complete. A beautiful baby daughter was born, and after much thought they called her Shampoosal. In that happy hairy world, not one thought was given to the bad hair witch. But the bad hair witch had forgotten nothing. High in her tower she worked day and night on her most amazing invention yet, something all barbers dreamed of, a marvellous magical hair-growing lotion. "Guess which witch will be rich," she sniggered. "All I need is a helpless, hairless baby to test my invention." And so the bad hair day dawned. The bell at the little barber shop tinkled cruelly as the bad hair witch burst inside. "Give me the child," she shrieked. "Have you got an appointment?" said Tam. "Let's see. I could fit you in Thursday." "You don't understand, you fools. I need to test my new improved formula, Ultimate 2-in-1 hair growing lotion." "Leave Shampoosal alone," pleaded Tamote. "You cannot try out your harebrained inventions on our child." Ignoring the tears of the unfortunate couple, the bad hair witch seized Shampoosal and carried her back to the tower. To make sure the precious child would never be taken from her, the hair witch blocked up the front door behind them. As the days passed, the bad hair witch grew to love the baby and looked after her as if she were her own. "No more tears, baby Shampoosal. My magic shampoo is very unusual," she would sing as she washed the infant's hair. And day by day, as Shampoosal grew, her hair grew too, in great long golden tresses which tumbled across the floor, down the stairs, into the kitchen, under the dog, round the back of the fridge and back upstairs again. "Hair, hair, hair," cackled the bad witch. "Look at your beautiful golden hair." Sometimes hairy Shampoosal remembered her parents' little barber shop in the town far below. Now that their daughter had gone, Dan and Tam worked sadly and never sang any more, and so one by one the customers went elsewhere. Years passed, and as Shampoosal grew into a young woman, the bad hair witch taught her the secret art of the hairdresser. "Wash your hair and keep it sweet, lather, rinse, repeat. Rub and comb and keep it neat, lather, rinse, repeat." Together, the bad hair witch and Shampoosal created new hair products which were more amazing than anyone could have dreamed. They became so famous, in fact, that a young prince by the name of Garibaldi heard about them from his home in a distant land. The prince, although handsome and wealthy, was as bald as a billiard ball. Prince Gary had tried one wig maker after another without satisfaction, so when he finally heard about the ultimate 2-in-1 hair growing lotion, he set out straight away, and after many days arrived at the tower. Of course, even a prince cannot enter a tower without a door, so Prince Gary concealed himself beneath the walls, and after a while he saw an amazing thing. The bad hair witch appeared at the window with her shopping bag. All of a sudden, a great mass of hair cascaded to the ground. The witch slid down it and set off towards the town. "Suppose that's what they call a hair slide," whispered Gary in amazement. Half an hour later, the old lady returned with her shopping and called out, "Shampoosal, Shampoosal, let down your hair so I can climb up to the top of your long hairy stair." Shampoosal let down her locks again, and the old woman scrambled back up the tower. Garibaldi was no fool, and the next time the old woman went out, the prince stood below the window himself and called, "Shampoosal, Shampoosal, your hair is so curly. Let it hang down now, be a good girlie." To his delight, a great coil of hair tumbled to the ground. He seized it and began to boldly go where no man had gone before. The prince scrambled into Shampoosal's room, and when his royal eyes fell on the lovely Shampoosal, he was captivated by her hairiness. He leaned towards her and kissed her ruby-red lips. There and then Shampoosal and the prince fell in love. Gary told her that he adored her limitless locks, and how he would love to have some of his own. To his amazement, Shampoosal replied that she had grown tired of her hair. "It don't half hurt when people climb up it," she complained, "and it takes a week to wash." But then, to the prince's joy, Shampoosal pulled out a tiny bottle of ultimate 2-in-1 hair growing lotion and began to massage his shiny scalp. Almost immediately, a single hair popped out of the prince's head. The first hair was followed by a second, the second by a third, and within 10 minutes the prince had a mass of golden curls snaking down his back, nearly as long as Shampoosal's. Garibaldi seized Shampoosal and danced with joy. "My prince, you must wash and go," whispered Shampoosal. She brushed a few stray hairs from his collar, and with one final kiss, the prince climbed down Shampoosal's hair and slipped away into the shadows. It wasn't long before the bad hair witch returned. "Shampoosal, Shampoosal, don't make me shout. Let down your hair, girl, don't hang about." As soon as she entered the salon, the witch spotted Garibaldi's little crown, which Shampoosal had left hanging on the coat hook. The witch was furious, and after a terrible argument, stormed into her bedroom, leaving Shampoosal weeping pitifully. The prince, meanwhile, had decided that, witch or no witch, he had to see Shampoosal again. He stood at the foot of the tower and whispered, "Shampoosal, Shampoosal, here is your prince. Throw down your pigtail, my hair needs a rinse." Immediately, a long lock of hair curled out of the window and tumbled to the ground. But just as the prince was about to climb up, he saw a figure sliding down. It was Shampoosal. "I don't know why I didn't think of this before," she said. "All that stupid hair. I snipped it off and tied it to the bed. Then I slid down to you. At last we have escaped from the bad hair witch." "That was a close shave," replied Garibaldi, softly stroking her silky stubble. "Come on, let's really let our hair down." So Shampoosal and her hairy prince ran away to his castle, but she didn't forget her parents, Dandruff and Tamote. Although they were rich, Shampoosal and Garibaldi liked to work in Dan's shop on Saturdays. Before long, the little barber shop was once again the busiest in the land. "It's amazing how the customers keep coming back," laughed Dan. And it was true. Some of the customers seemed to have as many as 5 haircuts a day. Perhaps they just loved having their hair cut by Shampoosal. Or perhaps the secret shampoo she uses has something to do with it. Her ultimate 2-in-1 hair-growing lotion. Or perhaps they come for the endless happy songs which drift across the hairy town. High in her tower, even the bad hair witch joins in. "Hair, hair, sensational hair, Shampoosal's the girl to share your hair care. She can give you a shave or a permanent wave. Hair,